George obviously going for the win. We saw him get second place in the WPT $1,700 mystery bounty last year. It's crazy how many of these players have ran deep in a mystery bounty format before, and they're doing it again. But he got runner-up last November. Sure, his eyes are on the trophy this time around. He's in a great spot.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, I'm going to pause for this cooler on cooler.
Ace-king suited for Nikki, putting in a raise, and here is Fam Bam with the aces.
There's no way these chips don't get into the middle. So we saw Nikki open a couple of hands, so it's going to look like he's getting more active too. So if Johnny finds a 3-bet, which of course he will with pocket aces, pressure will be back on Nikki to possibly ship it. All right, so Johnny went with a 3-bet, just under 3x. Nikki's open size commits about a third of his stack in there. And wow, before it even gets back to Nikki, Felipe, another pocket pair in a brutal spot.
Yeah.
We saw him have to fold trays not too long ago, which he did correctly. And now pocket 7s. I mean, Nikki's open from earlier position is pretty strong. Now facing a 3-bet, also very strong. Might be able to get away from it here for minimal damage. But it's just crazy that Johnny's almost guaranteed to get action from one of these two hands pre-flop.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, Felipe ships it. Nikki might be able to get out of the way. But if Felipe folds, Nikki's going nowhere.
This is such a rough spot.
Yeah, absolutely brutal spot here for Felipe.
I mean, especially when you only have 12 bigs left here.
I think given the fact that Nikki opened under the gun +1, it does look a lot stronger than if it was like a button open or cutoff open.
He does put in the call.
Yeah, Nikki hoping to hit an ace or king on this flop. Maybe he puts Johnny on ace-queen. One of those hands, and oof. It's getting all in on this flop.
Yep.
King high. Brutal flop for Nikki. Johnny's going to find a continuation bet. And he's only got an SPR of 1. I mean, these chips are just mandatory going in the middle for both players. Like, Nikki has no choice. You cannot get away from it. You see the snap call. That's what you want when you have ace-king. You're hoping Johnny has queens, ace-queen.
You see Nikki kind of nod his head like, yeah, you got me.
We'll see if Johnny can fade runner clubs or king for Nikki. Clean turn and deuce on the river.
Wow, big double up for Johnny there.
Massive spot for him. That's going to put him, I believe, third in chips now after that hand, which is
really
huge at this table. He's definitely not one to be messed with. Should he be able to chip up and start playing back at everybody. Here we go, Nikki, the short stack, all in. Gets to go all in with a king from late position. He knows both Lee and Anthony are very short, so they're not going to put in too light of calls. But wow, there's Anthony waking up with a big hand. King, queen, he's going to ISO shove. Now George might want to go bounty hunting, but no, a 10-8 offsuit, has to let it go, and Nikki's in rough shape. Anthony with king, queen, well in the lead. Nikki, tournament life at risk, looking to spike a 5. It is not to be on that flop. He's going to need running hearts. That is not going to happen as we come down 8 on the river. Now Anthony going to be knocking out Nikki here. Nikki eliminated in 9th place. Lee is just praying it gets around to him and he can stick it all in with any 2 cards. So far, that wish is looking to come true. Felipe looks down at 9 deuce. He's got to let it go. Just comes down to whether Thad can open. Wow. Thad's got more than an open. He's got an all in. And Lee, rough shape. Ace Jack is a monster in the small blind facing a button open. So here we go, Lee. All in for his tournament life. Thad in the lead with ace king. We'll see if the ace king can hold, and we see another elimination here. Flop comes down queen high. No jack on board for Lee.
On a turn.
Yeah, deuce would make a chop.
Would.
Deuce or jack, and not to be for Lee. We're going to see maybe the most decorated in terms of tournament winnings player at this table get eliminated. George Jack 9 suited. This is the kind of action Felipe was going to have to face. Somebody's going to raise, and George can be the first one to do it. Johnny Queen 10 suited.
10 suited.
You see him kind of eyeing up Felipe's chip stack there.
Said, let's go.
Yeah, And you don't want to put in a call and face Felipe going all in necessarily. So again, you're seeing a lot of players take kind of the more passive route.
Yeah, Felipe all in, Jack 10 suited.
And he's getting it in so good here against George's Jack 9.
Yeah, wow.
But there you go. You saw a snap call from George. Not even a decision to be made in the mystery bounty format against a super short stack. Felipe is going to be looking to hold, find a double up. George looking for a 9. Ooh, he's getting 2 clubs.
Club draw for George.
Well,
it's on the turn.
Diamond ball.
Oh, and a club gets there.
So we see George eliminate Felipe. Bounty hunting gets rewarded for George. Now Johnny with another monster. Ace King under the gun. He's picked a good time to run hot with premium hands pre-flop. Made the most of them so far. Let's see what the Ace King can bring. So we know he's going to open. See what size he wants to go with.
Somebody getting excited in the background there.
Crowd went wild.
Yeah.
As Johnny put in just over the min raise, 90K with the Ace King. So far, nobody playing back as we get around the blinds. And Anthony's not going to be playing back with the 5-tray offsuit.
No.
Once he lets it go, it's just the chip leader George in the big. Jack 9 off, could defend here. Again, we've seen George and Johnny kind of butt heads recently. Johnny's gotten the best of it so far. Let's see if George can maybe get something back his way as he puts in the call, and wow, he does.
What
Jack
a flop.
9-5. 2 clubs. Johnny with just ace high. Let's see if he wants to put in the continuation bet.
Say he's gonna check it.
So he's been proceeding very cautiously against George.
Oof. Oh, no.
Ace on the turn could be a little disastrous.
Yeah.
George put in a sneaky check on that turn. A lot of times he would have led, but knows the ace is good for Johnny's hand.
Now Johnny is going to fire the bet here.
Mandatory bet here for Johnny. For George, just a question of whether you want to put in the check raise or call. If you call and Johnny's got an ace, he's going to think his hand is best. But at the same time, if Johnny's got a hand like he has, you want to be putting the check raise here to extract some value, and that's what George does. Puts in the raise. Makes it a chunky 425K. Johnny does put in the call. He'll have about a pot size chip stack behind. Should set up the river jam for George if he gets a clean river card. So scary spot for Johnny, but don't think he can find a full with this hand.
No, unfortunately not.
Especially given the fact George checked flop and checked turn. We know George's going to apply pressure. He could be doing this with a lot of hands like pair plus flush draw, straight draws. So now Johnny does put in the call. Like I said, it's going to be right around 1 to 1.1 million in the middle, which is what Johnny's stack is going to be.
That's a face card.
So on the river, see how George wants to proceed.
Oh, it's a jack. So trips for George.
Oh, no, full house for George.
Full house, yep. Full house.
And it's going to be tough to put him on a jack. You wouldn't expect a jack to check raise. So this is a very weird spot for Johnny. That's why we see him put in the quick call. Just absolute disaster for Johnny.
All right, here we go. Johnny all in. King 6 suited under the gun.
Yeah, under the gun, you have to go all in a lot wider than maybe you'd like to off of like a 6 big blind stack, knowing you're in the big mix hand. Yeah, wakes up with a monster, and he's going to ISO jam, but George looked down at crap, had to fold it. Obviously, George would have loved to go for the double knockout.
All right, off to the races. Johnny needing a king.
10's in the lead so far. King for Johnny. Ace. Wrong overcard. 9 on the river.
And Anthony does eliminate Johnny Pham.
So GG's to Johnny going out in 6th place. Not too long ago, we saw Wayne go after Alex's. See if anybody wants to test Anthony now. Alex waking up with a monster on the button. Ace Queen suited. Puts in the raise. He's hoping to get some action here. That Jack 9 suited. Very tempting to play. Unfortunately, he's just stuck off a 10 big blind stack. You can tell he wants to find a way to chip up and win this thing. puts in the call. Now Anthony, playable hand of his own, so the 3 short stacks might be headed into a collision course here. Anthony looks down at King Jack offsuit in the big blind, closing the action, only 80K more to call. He is going to put the chips in. So the 3 short stacks go into a flop. It comes down 10, 4, 4, 2 spades. Nobody with a pair. Thad Jack high, Anthony King high, Alex the betting lead as a pre-flop raiser. Does get checked over to him. Let's see what he wants to do. These players are relatively short in comparison to the pot, an SPR of 2. There's not a lot of wiggle room to make any moves, and wow, what a turn card in a jack.
Oh man.
Thad and Anthony hit a pair.
Yep.
Thad's gonna jam it, and Anthony's gonna have to think about this one for at least half a second. He had the king,
not long.
Yeah, king of spades plus a jack, and Anthony's getting it in good with a chance to eliminate Thad here.
Oh man.
Thad hoping to see an ace, a 4, a jack, something to create a chop. It is a tray of spades. You could hear the rail before we even saw it on screen. They saw the spade as the turn card, and suddenly Thad gets eliminated in 5th place. Here we go, Alex jamming from the button. Looks down at an ace, sub 10 big blinds, easy all in. After Anthony fold, to see if George wakes up with a hand in the big. Looks down at something decent. Could be putting in the call. Looks like he's sweating it out. We're sweating it with him, not knowing what he has. And the lift up doesn't look too good. But there is a call. George put in the light call. He's going for the bounty, going for the knockout. Here we go. Alex at risk, holding the better hand right now on an ace high. George looking for a 7-6, and oh my, there's the 7 on the flop. Jack 7 deuce, 2 hearts. Neither player holding a heart. Now 4 on the turn. Alex needs to hit another 4 or an ace, not to be on the tray river. And Alex, say it ain't so. Eliminated in 4th place again. Might even just have to be this one regardless of what the cards are. Any 2 might be mandatory all in here, given the big blind ante. And there it is. You see him, he may have not even looked at the cards, might have closed his eyes, pretended to look at something. He looked down at 8-5 and has to go all in. And George looks down at an ace. He is going to have Anthony dominated. His ace-5 over Anthony's 8-5. Can't imagine he is going to be folding an ace. You see it, he's assembling a raise. He's trying to isolate this one.
Yeah,
go for the bounty, as he should. There it is. He raises it to about a minute. Oh my.
Wayne pocket queens.
What a spot for Wayne.
Oh my gosh.
All in for Wayne.
Yep.
Poor Anthony. 8-5. 8-5 drawing rough against queens.
Yeah.
It was already rough against ace-5.
Yeah, you know you're up against it when the 3rd player just decides
oh
to
my, George asking for a chip count. He's debating whether Wayne is doing this wide as a bluff to try to just take it down.
Oh boy.
Which, in George's defense, if Wayne did do this wide, by stealing the dead side pot, he'd be free rolling the all in and the bounty pool.
Right.
So it does offer some deliberation. Chat's going wild for 8-5 already. I mean, they're rooting for the underdog story. Going to be tough against Wayne's queens, but before we even get there, George
is contemplating calling this.
I mean, if there's any chance Wayne's got king queen, he could get it in good here if you think he's trying to steal it. George debating
he is
whether to end this tournament right now. I mean, if
George
and Wayne collide here, whoever wins is the winner. I mean, it would be nuts. He does find the fold. He's going to be happy. He's going to be happy when he sees those queens from Wayne. But I'll bet you $20 an ace comes on the flop after all that, because that's
for sure
how it always goes. If he calls, it doesn't come. But here we go. Anthony looking to survive. Can he find it? Ooh,
it got an 8.
He got an 8. Looking for a 5. Well, queen of clubs for Wayne.
Oh, that's going to be it.
That is it for Anthony. Anthony going home in 3rd place. George on the button once more. This time it's a pretty real hand, an ace tray. They're going to open any 2 cards. This one is a delight to see. There is the standard 480. 3 big blinds, and Wayne wakes up with an ace. Does he want to fight back now? Does he want to call? He hasn't mixed in too many 3-bets pre-flop. Having an ace in your hand, decent spot to do so.
Wow.
There it is, all in.
Go all in.
Now George,
And
quick
here we
call.
go. All right, this may be it.
Ace 5 versus ace tray. Good portion of the time will be off to a chop, but if either one can connect with this board, somebody will be crowned victorious.
Oh, they both hit their ace.
Yeah, 4 on board. Now
Oh,
5
oh,
smashes the
diamond.
turn. Oh, Wayne's got the hammer lock
Yeah,
now.
he does, and that is going to be it. Assuming
Wow.
the chip counts are right, it
Sure.
looks like Wayne is the winner. They're going to double check it if our graphics are right.
Yeah, obviously they were very close in chip stack. That was a heck of a heads-up matchup.
Wow.
My God.
And it is, yep, it is accurate. Wayne does cover George, so
GG is to George. Excellent heads-up battle between him and Wayne. That was an amazing watch.
wow.